Hello, everyone out there in YouTube world, Facebook world, social media world, the world. Welcome to another edition of Musings with MGL. I want to thank everybody for subscribing. Thank everybody for following as usual. Again, just to start off before I forget, because I always do, if you do like what we do here or what I do here, click the subscribe button down in the corner. Click the notification bell so you know when I post new content. Give me a like, give me a comment, give me a share. Every little thing you do like that helps me grow this channel. So I'm going to get into this one here today. This one's going to be just another kind of bitch fest, I guess, for what's going on out there. So I did a video a little while ago about these small business loans, right? The PPP, payroll protection plan, the small business loans that were passed as part of this stimulus package that came out a couple weeks ago, and how they ran out of money, yada yada yada, etc. Everybody knows that story by now. This episode is going to be about a kind of an unintended consequence of that. Now, it's not necessarily an unforeseeable consequence. There were actually a lot of people that were claiming that this is what was going to happen when it was passed. You heard a lot of senators and a lot of politicians, a lot of other economists out there saying that if you pass this package the way that it is, there's going to be an unintended consequence, and they could foresee it coming. So it's not an unforeseen consequence, but it's unintended. And it's all kind of summed up in this article here that's making their rounds today, that everybody's looking at, about this woman who got a loan and now her employees are angry with her. So as you see from the headline here, she got a forgivable loan. Her employees hate her for it. So essentially, what you have here is a small business owner, okay? This woman owns a couple of spas in Washington State. You know, spas, massages, facials, et cetera, spas. And so, of course, when Washington State shut down, they did a lockdown order like everybody else did in the country, and they shut down her business. She couldn't operate her business. It was closed. And this happened all the way back in late February, early March, I think. And because the business was closed, she basically had to, at that point, fire, furlough, lay off all of her employees. So those employees then had to go on unemployment, et cetera, et cetera. And then they passed this small business loan, and she applied for it and she got it. So as it starts, Black Lewis saw the $177,000 and $43,800 loans, one of each for the spas that she owns in Washington State, as a lifeline she could use for payroll and other business expenses. So here's a woman who's trying to save her business. Okay, she has a small business, 2 small spas. They've been closed forcibly by the government. She had to lay off all her employees. So she applied for one of these loans, and good for her, she received it. A lot of other small businesses out there didn't receive it because they ran out of money. That was a whole other video that I did last week. But she was one of the lucky ones who received it. Okay, she got a couple of loans, not totaling a lot, around $200,000. That she can use to pay her staff so they could keep getting a paycheck even though they weren't working, and for other expenses, rent, all the other bills that she has to go forward. So she had halted pay for her 35 employees, including herself, when it was shut down due to the coronavirus in March. So when she convened a virtual employee meeting to explain her good fortune, she expected jubilation and relief that paychecks would resume in full, even though the staff, primarily hourly workers, couldn't work. Well, guess what? She got a different reaction. It was a firestorm of hatred about the situation, Black Lewis said. The animosity is an unintended consequence of the $2.2 trillion coronavirus relief package enacted last month. So what it gets to, I'm not going to read the article word for word. You can Google the story. It's all over the place. This comes from MSNBC, so I don't want people to think I'm just pulling from, conservative newspapers or conservative websites to whack these things. This is from a mainstream media website. It's a story that's real. It's not fake or made up or anything. It's a story that's going on out there. So what happens is when you get the PPP money, it's called the payroll protection plan for a reason. One of the requirements of the plan is that you pay for your employees, right? The whole point of it is so that you don't have to lay off people. They can keep getting their paychecks, and then the secondary point is so that you can pay your rent and other expenses and keep your business up. So one of the requirements is that if you're going to take this money, you have to use it to pay your employees. If you don't, then you have to pay the money back in full, and there's interest rates and everything else. But if you can prove that you've used the money for your employees and other business expenses, then you can get the loan forgiven, or at least you can pay it back at a 0% interest rate, okay? So in order to get these loans, she had to agree to use the money to pay for her employees. And who would think, great, I can pay my employees, they're going to be all excited. Well, here's the kicker. Because of the way the CARE package was worded, the CARES Act, that offered $349 billion in loans for small businesses struggling, was backstopped by the federal government and can be given if you spend them on people. But in that same stimulus package was an unemployment package, okay? And the unemployment package, what it did was give an extra $600 a week, not a month, an extra $600 a week from the federal government on top of the normal weekly check you would get from your unemployment check from your state, okay? Unemployment goes through the state. It doesn't go through federal government. So you make a claim in the state of Washington, in this case, for unemployment, and you get an unemployment check from the government. Now, that unemployment check is not the same amount of money that you were making prior to getting laid off. It's less than that. It's basically an incentive for people to not sit around on their ass and collect unemployment, but to go out and find work. So instead of giving you the full amount that you were earning before, they give you a percentage of it that's less than what you were making before. So there was an incentive for people to want to go back to work and get their paychecks. Well, now that the federal government is taking that percentage that you would get and slapping an extra $600 a month or a week on top of it, you have a large group of people now who are actually going to make more money on unemployment than they would if they would go back to getting their regular paycheck from their companies. So what it has done is obviously incentivized people to not go back to work. It's incentivized people to not take the money from their employers because they'd rather take the unemployment check because now they're getting more because the federal government gave them an extra $600 a week on top of what they would normally get from unemployment. So this woman, here she is, a struggling business owner wanting to keep her businesses afloat so when the world opens back up, she can still have a business and a job for these people to go to. She did that to save herself and her employees, and now her employees are pissed at her and angry because they didn't want her to do that. They would rather sit at home on their asses and collect their unemployment check than have her business succeed and have a job to come back to. And that's extremely short-sighted, obviously, because eventually that extra $600 is going to run out. And when it runs out and your job that you used to have is gone because she couldn't get these loans and the business failed, now you're not making anything. So it's completely short-sighted by these people, and it's completely selfish for them to obviously get angry at this woman for trying to keep her business open. This woman gave them a job. She hired them. She gave them a job. I'm going to assume she treated them well. And this is how they reward her when she goes out and get her own business to try and pay her own mortgage and her own rent and salaries for herself. Because again, as a business owner, I'm a small business owner myself. That's how you get paid, is you draw your own salary from the business. So if the business fails, you don't get a salary. So not only, okay, you can go collect unemployment, but your business is gone. So as it says clearly, the anger came from employees who determined they'd make more money by collecting unemployment benefits than with their normal paychecks. So this poor woman, as you know, a conclusory statement from her down at the end, basically, they may not have a choice ultimately, but I don't come out as the nice guy, she said. Bad will has been cemented into the business because I took it away from them. There's a bad taste from it, she added. We'll recover, but it's just a bummer. So these people are angry. So this just tells you what the problem is, okay? So that's a mentality that a lot of people in America have right now, which is, I don't care about you. I don't care about your business. I only care about what I can get. And when you incentivize, it goes to a larger, argument that people make when it comes to things like welfare and unemployment and stuff, government assistance, is it incentivizes people not to work. When people can make the same amount of money, or in this case, certainly more money than they could work, and why would they go to work? They might as well stay at home. And so here's a prime example of America trying to do the right thing. I give credit to the congressman for passing a bill in general, but there were a lot of people who were saying when this bill came out that this was going to happen. They didn't want the extra $600 a month or a week towards it. They wanted something more for a month, or they wanted that taken out and just allow people to get on their unemployment, or the whole point was to keep the businesses afloat so they could use it to pay the payroll so people don't have to go on unemployment at all. But instead, they gave payroll money to businesses and then jacked up the amount for unemployment. So now you have people saying, I can make more money at home on unemployment than I can make at my job. It's disgusting. It's ridiculous. And it's what a lot of us conservatives and small government people have been saying for years is the problem with these type of incentive programs, is that you're incentivizing people not to work. And this is a prime example of it. So I feel bad for this woman. Well, actually, I don't. I would say, screw you then. You're all fired, and I'll hire somebody else when the world opens back up. I'd pay them their salaries now in order to get the loan forgiven. And then once the loan was forgiven, I'd tell them to piss off, and I'd fire them and hire somebody else who's a little bit more grateful. But, good for her for getting her loan. Good for her for thinking about her own business. Bad on them for not caring about the boss. And this is the standard thing you go with when you talk about workers versus small business owners. Workers don't understand what it's like to own a business. Obviously, you have respect for workers. I have respect for my workers, and you have to treat them fairly and goodly. That's a real word, but you have to treat them right so that they like you as a boss and they work for you and put out their best effort. But they don't understand what it's like to be the owner of the business and have to rely on the business to succeed. They're just collecting a paycheck. And a lot of people out there aren't collecting paychecks right now. And a lot of people would love to have their business get these small business loans because they could keep getting paid, but not these ungrateful jackasses out in Washington State. They'd rather suck off the government teat than have this woman succeed and have her business stay in place. So it's just another unintended, it was a foreseen but unintended consequence. It's a sad commentary on America and our society with everything that's going on right now in the society in general. But just wanted to put that out there. That's my ranting and raving for today, or my musings, as it were. So again, thanks for watching. Click the button, subscribe, click a like, give a comment. If you disagree with me and think I'm full of crap and these employees should take the government money instead of hoping that their boss stays in business, then please make a comment. I'll be happy to debate it with you. You're wrong, but I'll be happy to debate it with you. So as always, thanks for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay open if you can. And as always, please carry on.